Hi and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how I prepare the classic breakfast meal called French toast. And this is a new one for me because this recipe involves using half and half cream and 2 tablespoons of semolina flour. And if you look on the internet, there are many versions of French toast, and most of those involve using just regular baking flour. So if you don't have semolina, baking flour will do, but that's the biggest difference for me. There's very little prep time. Takes maybe 10-15 minutes to just prepare and get the bread ready. It's a really good meal that serves really well with scrambled eggs, bacon, fresh fruit, breakfast sausage, fresh bananas, you name it. Whatever your favorite is, it pairs up really well with a lot of other foods. So without further ado, let's get into the kitchen and start preparing this great little meal. So before we start cooking, I just want to mention the history of French toast in case anyone is interested. But surprisingly, it didn't originate in France, but rather in ancient Rome. A dish called pain dulce, meaning sweet bread, was a staple of Roman cuisine involving soaking bread in a milk and egg mixture, then frying it. While the name French toast didn't appear until later, the core concept of soaking bread in a liquid and frying it was established in Roman times. Later on in England, in the 15th century, an English cookbook called The Form of Curry mentions a dish called pain fondu, literally meaning melted bread, which involved wine-soaked bread fried with raisins, sugar, and spices. Later on, even further, in France, the dish is known as pain perdu, which translates to lost bread or wasted bread, reflecting its origins as a way to repurpose stale bread. Good idea. Finally, in the 18th century, the dish was brought to America by early settlers and was given the name French toast. The name is thought to have been inspired by French immigrants, or perhaps a desire to make the dish sound more sophisticated. That's for sure. So, let's get cooking. So here are the ingredients. We're using half and half cream, and it's going to be 1 cup of that, 2 eggs, a 1/4 cup of white sugar, and a bit extra to use later on when we're cooking the French toast. We're going to be using 2 tablespoons of semolina flour, and as you can see, it's like powder. And this is what makes this recipe so special. We're going to use 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, and the bread I am using today that I used before is fantastic with this recipe. Is a Tuscan style white bread. It's already come sliced, about a 1/2 inch thick, and it's still very moist, and we're going to be baking it in my air fryer for a few minutes just to get it extra dry. I'll be using 2 pans today. This bowl to whip up the mixture, and then later on in this baking dish to soak the bread in. The reason why I don't just use this is I found it difficult to whip inside here. So if you have both, fantastic. Otherwise, this will do. Let's start by adding the 2 eggs and the vanilla extract, the 1/4 cup of white sugar, the cinnamon. Let's whip this up first, and then we'll add the flour. See what I mean? This bowl is like perfect, and that square pan, you can't really whip it up properly. So let's whip this up really nice and thorough, and then let's add in half the semolina flour, Now let's mix in 1 cup of the half and half. Put it all in there, and now let's give it a good stir. So the secret to this recipe is to let this mixture stand for about 10 minutes. While this is standing for 10 minutes, we're going to bake the Tuscan style bread in my air fryer. So I placed 1 loaf in the basket already of my air fryer, and I just want to show you how nice and spongy that is. That's not what you want. So we have to further dry this out. It's either that, if you don't bake it in the air fryer or your oven, then you'll have to leave it out overnight. So let's pop this in there and turn the air fryer on, and we're going to bake it at 325 works for me, and we're going to match cook. We don't want that much time. Let's set it for 5 minutes. Halfway through, I'm going to be checking it and give it a flip, and we'll be back in a minute. And the bread did take a full 5 minutes in my air fryer to get nice and dry, and it's not like toast at this point. It's very dry. So let's pour the mixture, the wet ingredients on top of this, and we're going to let this soak in for about 5 to 10 minutes. If you don't have time to do the full 10 minutes, well, it should do. So I'm just going to let that soak in, maybe give it a flip. And there you have it. So I'm going to set my timer for 5 minutes and see what it looks like, and then we'll see if it's ready for frying. So the bread has been soaking for just over 5 minutes, and it's nice and soggy, and yet when I pick it up, it's not falling apart, which is a good thing. Instead of a regular frying pan, I'm going to be using my old faithful crepe pan that I bought many years ago. It's cast iron. It's really heavy, and when this thing gets hot, it stays hot for a long time. But I just like it because I can get in there without touching the edges. So that's why I'm using this. So I'm going to throw on a couple pads of butter, let that heat up, and then add the French toast. The butter is nicely melted, but I just want to add a bit of the milk mixture to make sure that the pan is really super hot, which it looks like. So let's grab one of the French toast, drop it on here, grab the other one. It just fell back in the dish. That's fine, have a part of it, no problem. So at this point, let me turn down the heat just a little bit, and I'm going to sprinkle some of that sugar on top. And then when I give it a flip, it'll be sticking to the French toast. Let's see how we're doing. Yeah, I'm not going to flip it just yet. I'm going to give it a minute, and then we'll give it a flip. Okay, we're ready for flip number 1. Browned very nicely. Get this one flipped that way. There we go. So this will get a bit more solid once the other side cooks, and then we're going to dig in. So there you have it. My classic French toast is finally ready, and it looks nice and delicious. The syrup I'm using today is a dark, robust version. It's a Canadian maple syrup, and I've tried this before. It tastes really great. And so let's take a bite of this with a nice strawberry. As I said, this is great with bacon, scrambled eggs, morning sausages, whatever your favorite. Most things go with this. Fresh fruit, strawberries, whatever is available. And really worth the effort. So give it a try soon. Thanks for dropping by my channel once again. And for anyone who hasn't subscribed, please do hit the subscribe button. Give me a thumbs up, would be appreciated. And until the next one, have yourself a terrific day. Take care. Bye now. Just one last thing. So you'll notice it made 2 big slices of French toast. There's another one in my kitchen that has to be cooked yet. So I made 3 large slices. So keep that in mind for yourself, what these ingredients will produce for you. So if you use a smaller slice of bread, you might get 4 pieces. I don't know. But I just thought you should know that.